Something interesting is happening in the grocery retail industry. There are actually new retailers emerging, and it should excite CPG brands. New grocers pop up all the time, though they tend to be local. Maybe they get to a regional level, but far and away, they don't really make much of a material difference to the overall industry. There's something very different going on right now. These new grocery retailers have the kind of firepower that is extremely rare and can make that material difference across the industry. So, how long exactly has it been since there were maybe large retailers that have emerged? Like, when were the founding dates of a lot of those grocers that are very well etched into our brains? Well, most grocers actually started, say, 40, 80, or 100 plus years ago. Kroger is 138 years old. HEB is 116 years old. Safeway is 106 years old. Hy-Vee is 91 years old. Albertsons is 82 years old. Food Lion is 64 years old. And Whole Foods Market is 41 years old. The last kind of growth retailer in the grocery space could be, honestly, Sprouts Farmers Market that started in 2002 and now has more than 340 locations in 20 plus states. But even Sprouts Farmers Market is technically not all that new because the family behind that, the Boney family, had ties to like local farmers markets and small kind of community grocery stores since 1943. So beyond that, the kind of disruptive forces that have been in the grocery retailing space really probably came from Walmart, which started to focus on groceries in the late 1980s, and then Target, which focused on selling more groceries in the early 2000s. But now there's a new crop of retailers popping up that has the potential of creating a lot of noise in the grocery retailing industry. And the first one that I want to talk about is Foxtrot. Foxtrot launched as a Chicago based delivery only convenience store in 2014. Foxtrot combines an upscale corner store and cafe with app based purchasing that makes its entire inventory available for delivery in under an hour. Foxtrot offers a wide variety of products to customers, including craft beer and natural wines, familiar brands like Oreo, and everyday goods like Bounty paper towels, as well as private label offerings that will eventually extend across its entire business. Foxtrot announced $42 million in new funding in February of 2021, and it currently has about a dozen stores across Chicago, Dallas, and Washington, D.C., and expects to have 21 stores running by the end of the year. The expansion is expected to continue with plans to open 50 locations across the U.S. over the next 2 years. The expansion into new markets will include New York City, Boston, Miami, Los Angeles, Houston, and Austin, Texas. The other new retailer that has a ton of potential, arguably a lot more potential than Foxtrot, to disrupt the grocery retailing space is Amazon Fresh. And Amazon has really kind of told the market what its intentions have been since it acquired Whole Foods Market in 2017. They have grocery ambitions. They know to take on a retailer like Walmart, they're going to need to focus and lean in on the grocery category. So Amazon needed Whole Foods Market to learn the grocery business. Arguably, it was a very good decision for them to pick Whole Foods Market, not only because of the size of the business, but because it is a very complex grocer. It's a supernatural kind of channel grocer that has a ton of complex vendor requirements, partnerships with suppliers, distribution companies. So if Amazon was going to learn the business, why not jump right into the deep end and learn with a company like Whole Foods that has a ton of brand affinity in the market? And if they do screw up, they're going to quickly be able to learn from that to launch its next endeavor. And after crawling, it did start walking. And pun intended here, as it developed the Just Walk Out technology, which allows shoppers to bypass the checkout. They tested that in about 2 dozen of the Amazon Go locations and eventually expanded the technology into Amazon Go grocery concept in Seattle that had about 7,700 square feet dedicated to selling space. Simultaneously, Amazon launched Amazon Fresh supermarkets in September of 2020. Amazon Fresh carries a variety of products commonly found in conventional grocery stores, including meat, produce, seafood, and prepared foods. The store also offers free delivery and pickup for Amazon Prime members and lets shoppers use the company's Alexa voice recognition technology to manage shopping lists and locate items. They also feature some of the company's newest tech, like Ask Alexa stations that I just mentioned, dash carts, and digital price tags. There are currently 13 Fresh stores across 3 states, with dozens more on the way. Amazon also operates 4 Fresh stores in the UK that feature Just Walk Out technology and are each around 2,500 square feet. And in May of 2021, Amazon said it had planned to phase out the Amazon Go grocery name less than a year after inaugurating it. The company is rebranding those locations as Amazon Fresh stores and once again pushing the envelope on store size when it comes to frictionless, computer vision assisted shopping, with a new location opening that will have about 16,000 square feet of front of house space. Now, there's also kind of a new retailer coming to the market, and that is from Lidl. Now, Lidl isn't exactly new, but it is new to the US consumer market. But Lidl is actually a 48-year-old German based grocery retailer that has about 12,000 locations globally. And in June of 2015, Lidl announced it would establish a United States headquarters 2 years after Lidl opened its first stores in the United States. Now, after a pause of those store openings, Lidl's expansion ramped back up following the discounter's acquisition of the Best Market chain that's predominantly in Long Island, New York in late 2018. Lidl now has 130 stores in the United States and is one of the country's fastest growing grocers. Now, while Lidl is kind of new, there are also some kind of grocers that are kind of popping up that are important for CPG brands to pay attention to. The first is Gopuff. And like Foxtrot, Gopuff started as a delivery only convenience store and was founded around the same period in 2013. Gopuff offers delivery in hundreds of US cities, making it a leader in the suddenly hot instant needs e commerce space. Gopuff has pushed the accelerator to the floor as it's got a massive COVID-19 effect boost. That has led to them raising more than 2.5 billion, yes, that's a B, billion, in the last 12 months to fuel new acquisitions, market expansion, and services. While delivery remains core to GoPuff's business, acquisitions of Bevmo and Liquor Barn helped GoPuff gain talent that has advanced its offline retail strategy. GoPuff has turned some of its locations into fulfillment centers that include a wide range of products for delivery. So, what exactly happens when GoPuff decides to take a consumer spin on some of those fulfillment centers or some of those kind of distribution points? And that's exactly what GoPuff is signaling that they're going to do. In San Francisco, they just kind of filed some paperwork for a new location that does include front of the house retail area where shoppers can come in and shop through their kiosk, place orders, pick up their items, and also can be a hub for GoPuff's drivers. And then another kind of grocery concept that's happening is with dark stores. Now, each grocer has started to open its own fleet of dark stores in some areas or another. Maybe they don't talk about it. Maybe it is new store locations that open as dark stores first until they transition into regular grocery stores. But you have the two largest kind of delivery intermediaries that are jumping in and providing this service, or maybe utilizing it for themselves in the future. The first one is with DoorDash, that is exploring different ways to utilize its dark store delivery capability for grocers, and it will complement their Dash Mart convenience service offerings to their users. And then additionally, Instacart is also playing around with some dark grocery stores to help with their grocery partners, or again, maybe utilizing it for themselves in the future. You just don't know. and they are leveraging a micro fulfillment automated distribution model with fabric. So, as a CPG brand, why should you care? Depending on your current or maybe future sales channel strategy, this could mean a lot, providing you a ton of opportunities, or could mean that you need to kind of reset and relook at some existing partnerships. We'll start with kind of the new opportunities. And as I kind of alluded to in the introduction, new grocery retailers don't come up all that much, especially when we're talking about national, huge firepower type of retailers that either have raised tens, hundreds, maybe billions of dollars, or is attached to trillion-dollar market cap companies like Amazon. Those don't come up all that often. And as these retail concepts start to prove that they are winning, they will expand very quickly. So if you are in and partnering with those retailers very early, as they ramp up their store locations, you will have instant unit volume growth as those stores multiply. And then the idea of like adjusting existing models, the COVID 19 effect did obviously help the grocery industry immensely. And that created a much bigger total addressable market. But the problem with what I'm talking about and these sizable new competitors in the grocery retail space is that they're kind of positioned all over the board. There are some discount ones, there are some premium ones, there's ones that are kind of blurring the lines around convenience and grocery, but that's going to take away market share from existing grocers and arguably probably those like high low basic type of grocers. So if you are big partners with them currently, you need to reevaluate those relationships and maybe kind of consider if there is a better allocation of money or maybe a new strategy that you need to consider. And then lastly, you need to consider how Amazon, being not all that kind of familiar with the grocery category and them having more resources than anybody could even imagine, they're not going to play fair. They're not going to play like the rest of the market. They're not going to follow the normal grocery strategy. So you need to predict how an unpredictable person is going to go. So you're going to need to try to figure out where is Amazon going to go with this. But even how kind of head spinning that could be, the answer to this is you should probably make nice with Amazon regardless. It's an extremely great partner to be focused on as whatever they are in terms of their ambitions today. That's not even coming close to where it's going to be in the future. So if you're able to ride that ramp, you have a ton of opportunities that are available to your CPG brand. I hope you guys enjoyed this content. If you have any questions about the grocery retailers that I mentioned, please leave a comment on this content or reach out to me on any of my social media accounts.